Coming up on this episode of the Village Idiom.
Care for the animals and the woodland creatures, but man, I'd pay money to be in a small animal.
Dum dum da da, Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to the Village Idiom.
We are a podcast that every single week, without fail, we bring you a popular English idiom that we take a shallow dive.
And it's short, depending. I guess everything is depending upon, so if it's a 24-hour cycle that is your normal thing, then 30 minutes isn't a big deal. That is short.
We take a shallow dive into its usage, its origins,
But just say if you were a fly and you only had a certain amount of hours to live,
yeah.
Well, 30 minutes you wouldn't want to waste on this podcast.
Yeah, I guess.
But if you're like, I'm shooting for 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, well, it seems clear that you'd want to spend 30 minutes with us.
Even just that line of thinking makes you pretty fly for a white guy. But we also take our idiom.
Give it to me, baby.
Du jour. Nice. And use it to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on. My name is Jurassic Mark.
And I am Skinny. It's a fantastic week here in Paradise. It's been a moist one.
It has. Oh my goodness.
I don't know if we're
Were you outside today?
Yeah, depending on what part of the day. You're not sure if you're going to get a burn or if you're going to drown.
Right?
Yeah,
that was crazy. Just unusual. I mean, we get rain all the time, but that was heavy. Are we going to have another flood kind of rain?
Yeah, it's one of the best parts of here. I love that it's like the Amazon.
What?
We're so in the thick of a rainforest here.
You're hilarious.
I just heard this week, you can, Village Idiom children, you can chime in if this is true or not, that the Amazon primarily undiscovered, and as they go through and deforest areas, they're finding cities. True story.
Is it actually true?
Yes.
Story?
Yes.
Aztec-y.
Yes, and that large swaths of it.
Swaths.
It's the size, the Amazon
Swaths,
forest.
you say?
Yeah, is the size of India.
Wow. The forest is?
Yeah, they put up on this little map diagram thing I was watching on the Amazon.
Is that true?
Well, I don't know. They could have been goofing with me, but that was the claim, is that it was the size of India. I'm like, that seems large for a forest. Anyways, and that it's largely man-made, man-planted.
Oh, I just maybe we were listening to something similar. I did just hear that. I'm like, and then it went crazy. So it was a lot of not even indigenous plantage to the area, and then when whatever civilization took off, the Amazon forest went crazy, and now we're dependent on it, aren't we? Somewhat.
I don't know about in my day-to-day life, but probably in some global air type perspective or something that I can barely pay attention to.
That's because there's not enough oxygen.
Yeah, Spaceballs. Put Amazon air from a can.
Do you remember? Today's idiom is not about the Amazon, but did you ever watch the old movie Amazon Women on the Moon?
No, that just sounds like a dangerous title.
It's not.
Okay.
It's the first time I ever discovered Arsenio Hall.
Okay.
And it's a sketch movie, put out early Wayans brothers
I like
stuff.
Yeah.
And
well, we went and saw the Wayans. One of them. Did we see Marlon?
Okay, speaking of seeing a comedian live,
yes.
Sunday, I'm at my son's birthday party. He's got a bunch of friends over. And
cutting the cake, party hats.
My niece.
Balloons.
Two of my nieces show up, and one is like, oh, I can't stay, I'm leaving. I'm like, oh, where are you going? She's like, I'm seeing Dave Chappelle tonight.
What?
At Rogers. On Sunday.
I didn't even know he was in town.
I didn't either.
I'm sad now.
Two opening acts. One was Jeff Ross, Roastmaster General.
No!
Yes. I'm like, how did we not hear about this?
I didn't even hear about it till right now. I'm so sad.
I know. Anyway, Amazon Women on the Moon. I bet you could just YouTube and look up Arsenio Hall, Amazon Women on the Moon, because his sketch, brilliant.
Okay, I'm just working through my depression.
It's only him.
Wow. I would have loved to have seen that.
I know. That is what I'm saying. I could not believe it.
Oh yeah, we're just going to see Dave Chappelle. We've seen so many comedians.
I literally pulled up on phone, can I buy a ticket right now? And yes, I could have. There were singles, spattered, maybe a dozen seats open.
Thanks for messaging me.
I would be bailing on my son's birthday.
He's going to have another one.
For $260.
I totally see the logic of bailing.
If I had missed his birthday because I planned to go to Dave Chappelle, That would be one thing. But to leave mid-party because I just found out.
But half the time you don't spend talking to half the people. So the people
And I had my daughter with me.
The people that you would have talked with wouldn't have known that you weren't talking with the other half.
Anyway, I will get over it. Right now I'm upset, but soon I will be in a correct well-being, and I'll feel more like...
You feel...
I'll be right as rain soon. Right as rain.
Right as rain.
Right as rain.
That's the idiom today. Right as rain. Do you use this one?
I do.
I think I have used it.
Yes, I think I
wouldn't
use
say
it.
it's in my everyday vernacular.
I particularly like friends from the South. I don't know why.
You what?
Friends who have like accents, Southern accents.
Oh, I thought you said I regularly pray to the South. And I'm like,
No.
oh. So you have friends to the South, which means you say this.
Like people have like North Carolina type accents and just
and
feeling
they
right
say
as
that?
rain.
I see.
I don't know. It's like a cultural phrase. Right as rain.
Right as rain. I'm right as rain.
And I don't know. When I think of like funny rains. Who comes to mind?
Funny rains? Like, is there...
It's not like Queen Elizabeth or
I'm assuming you're meaning Rainn Wilson.
Rainn Wilson.
But is there... Forget... How many funny rains can you name? How many rains can you name?
Rain Maida.
What is that?
He's the lead singer of Our Lady Peace.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I stand corrected.
How many rains can I name? 2 at least.
I was like, Rain will. Are they both spelled the same? Rainn?
I don't know about that part.
I will say this: Rainn Wilson doesn't look like a Rain. Like that seems like a hippie name, and maybe it's because he looks like a Dwight. Like his real name should be Dwight, and his character name should be Rain. Rainn Wilson sounds like a character name. Dwight Schrute. Do you know the actor Dwight Schrute? Yeah, he plays Rainn Wilson.
That's more accurate.
Sounds
right?
more accurate. Oh man, yeah, Rainn Wilson, right as rain. I mean, that guy thought he was right all the time. They should have used that more. Oh, but his name was. See, now I'm confused.
If I had like
I'm right as Dwight. Right as Dwight.
Dwight is rain.
Dwight is rain. Oh, that's great.
Okay.
How you feeling? Dwight is rain.
If you had even a rhyming name, it would be a fantastic like Wayne, right as Wayne, or
Right as Wayne.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the only one that really
That's
right
it.
as Dwayne? Starts to lose it. Too many letters in there.
How far away can you get if you're not using either word? Dwight is Dwayne.
Sounds like just some sort of speech impediment. Dwight is Dwayne.
So the definition or the usage of it is you say it when it's in good order. It's actually most often, at least according to what I looked up, because I don't use it that much, has to do with health. Like, how you been? Right as rain. Like,
I use it in like things are back to the way like they should be. Well, we're right as rain.
yeah, like it was
Like
off a little bit and then
Brought back.
right.
Right.
This was this was a sample sentence that I found. He was very ill, but he's right as rain now. Or another one was, if she'd only worked on it another week, everything would have been right as rain, which is more the way you just described it. Like, it got off the rails for a minute. Now we're right as rain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right as rain.
right as rain. And we do live in a rainy.
We live in a rainforest.
in the
so,
wet coast.
Yeah. Well, I was, thinking about our weather and situations that have popped up. I did come across some bizarre Rain Canada little pieces of trivia or facts.
All right, feed
little
me some more.
factoids that so less questiony, more factoid. Okay, August 4th, 1921. Excuse me. When frogs rained out of the sky onto 11th Avenue. This was in Saskatchewan.
Okay.
Through the ages, there have been numerous reports of insects, fishes, live lizards, frogs, and other small animals falling out of the sky during rainstorms. In December 1857, live lizards rained down in Montreal. Large black ants pelted Winnipeg during a thunderstorm in May 1895.
That's great.
And fish fell during a downpour in Moose Jaw in 1903.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That is right as rain. Wow. Can you imagine? I mean, that would be,
If ants.
what movie was that? I've
Sharknado?
seen it in a movie.
Sharknado.
No. Where it starts raining frogs.
There's some like Ben-Hur type.
No. It's
type
more
Moses
modern. I want to
apocalyptic.
say it's John C. Reilly or John Malkovich, or and it's raining frogs, and like it's just like blood splattering across windshield, which apparently is not really how. So, did you look up how this phenomenon happens?
I didn't look it up. But there was mention of being sucked up in tornadoes.
Sometimes tornadoes, yeah, and a lot of times they are frozen when they land because they get up so high that it becomes whatever temperature that they land frozen. So the blood spattered windshield in the movie I saw was actually inaccurate because it's usually just like frog-shaped hail.
Be so disturbing. How fast is that coming down? A frog-shaped.
It doesn't matter. Like whatever maximum speed is.
Do you think the damage like golf ball-sized hail would do?
Yeah.
Frog-sized hail would be deadly.
It'd be better if they were thawed.
For sure. Or else...
But what caught my ear is that you listed insects, fish, frogs, lizards, and small animals. Like, does it literally rain cats and dogs sometimes?
I guess somewhere it may have in history.
Wow.
So very bizarre. This is another little interesting.
Yeah, I would love to be. I don't want the. I care for the animals and the woodland creatures, but man, I'd pay money to be in a small animal rainstorm.
Like
in a vehicle or somewhere where I'm not going to get hurt.
Try to dodge, like
dodge the foxes.
Some sort of. It's a Persian. It's so huge. It's a Himalayan coming at me. It's a Great Dane. Okay. It is believed that raindrops are the purest form of natural water, which is not actual reality. Every drop of rain gets created because of dust. And since it is impossible for rain to form without dust particles, thus every raindrop has some kind of impurities in it.
So, how is that possible? If there were no dust particles,
I don't know.
And you've got a collection of water molecules, H2O only, mm-hmm. Why would it not still look like a raindrop?
I don't understand it. I just because I knew we'd be talking about rain, and so I popped up like interesting rain facts.
It is interesting,
and out came these bizarre little anomalies that required some dust.
I was just yesterday listening to we'll do an accidental plug for Stuff You Should Know podcast, and they were talking about bottled water and the history of bottled water, the impurities and purities of bottled water, how they process water, blah, blah, blah. Very interesting. But one of the things they said that they're like, it's funny that we've never seen this. And I'm like, yeah, because, everyone's got their kind of edge, like, oh, it's artesian water or it's volcanic carbonated water. There is such a thing as naturally carbonated water.
Volcanic carbonation.
Yeah, naturally carbonated. Here's the ironic part is, this is not the point of what I was saying, but the volcanic naturally carbonated water won't sustain its carbonation. So they'll actually flatten the water and then recarbonate it. But they're only allowed to label it if it first was naturally carbonated.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So they were naming all these. There's like spring water, artesian well water. They're like, how is there not like bottled rainwater? How is that not a thing? Like.
Well, I guess like Nestle's and all these things are actually bottled rainwater.
Technically, but I mean caught from the sky directly to your bottle.
That would be a huge effort.
Right.
Just moving around bottles.
Like it just seems like some novelty, not even like high-end snobby company would be like, oh yeah, you've got spring water?
We pay people to catch
Alaskan rainwater.
To catch the water. Today you could have caught water and filled a rain.
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah, like right into the bottle.
Yeah, it's got to go. You got to have a barn-sized funnel or something to catch the water.
Yeah, there would be a lot of waste otherwise. But anyways,
you got another one there?
Final one, mediocre interesting. The Dry Valleys of Antarctica refers to the McMurdo Dry Valleys, which are located in trans-Antarctica mountains, which sometimes they feel like they're mountains, sometimes they don't, of Victoria Land, Antarctica. Instead of being covered in snow and ice like most valleys of Antarctica, the dry valleys are covered with dirt, granite, and gravel. So it's huge valleyed areas in Antarctica that have no snow.
Okay.
No moisture, and so they have no. They said it's the most thing like Mars we have here.
So
Like
what's the novelty about this? Just that it
it's in
collects no
Antarctica,
water?
which is typically thought of as a sheet of ice,
Oh, I see.
but there's no moisture. It's so like
Is it considered a desert?
I don't know. I didn't get that far. It was the dry mountains. So the dry valleys of Antarctica. So like something that's so cold that it doesn't have enough moisture.
And that's where they get the drink Canada Dry,
We'll have to bottle it directly.
from the Dry Valley.
Well, first they
It's
add
an
water
empty
to
bottle.
it, but then they bring it back and dry it out.
In order to sell it legitimately with the Dry Valley label, they got to then dehydrate or
It's like
evaporate
saying-
the water from the bottle.
It's like saying that, like fresh meat, but it's like, oh, it was frozen, but now it's not.
Now it's fresh.
Now it's fresh, freshly unfrozen. I don't know.
Freshly delivered to you.
We do that when it's like when people ask about some baking or something at the house. It's like, did you bake these? It's like, oh yeah, these are freshly baked cookies. And it's like they came from a package or
But you did just freshly
baked.
Yeah,
it's
legit. It's a
all the
legit
wording.
answer.
It's all the wording. Anyway.
Here's a little young Frankenstein for you.
Why, he'd be as right as rain.
He's got such a great voice. What's his name again? Oh man,
He's a Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
yeah, Wild.
Wile E. Coyote.
There it is.
That's the one.
No, I'm picturing
Gene
Richard
Wilder.
Pryor and Gene Wilder. There it is.
Whew, that was a close call.
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder. Man, so we should probably dig into where this little gem actually originates from.
What for?
Well, it's one of those things we do.
Yeah, but I'm not.
That's our
ready.
jam, baby.
All right, fine.
Let's hear it.
I said some words, where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind. Origins.
Well, did you look into this at all?
Nope, but I'm gonna. Yeah, do you have some samples?
No, I don't have games, but this one was interesting because at first I was like, boo, it's everything I could find it's one of those ones where every site it was a copy and paste information.
It's
where
funny. I hate when that happens.
Oh, it drives me crazy where it's like this isn't just the same information, it's word for word on a dozen different sites.
Literal copy and paste.
Yeah, so whoever writes the original one should be upset. But so I'd say 90%, 95% of the sites that I came across, the research I did in depth, answered like this, word for word, actually. Might as well do the same thing. Said, like many common English phrases, its origin isn't clear. That's all you need to read to be disappointed.
That's lame.
So, but it does continue. The use of the word right in the phrase is self-explanatory. Right implies correctness, as in everything is all right. But why rain? Why say right.as.Rain? So given that the phrase we do know that it originated in England. It's likely, or at least tempting to think that it's a pun on the fact that rain is a commonplace.
Right, like we're very much like England.
Yeah, so, you come home to Vancouver and it's right.as.Rain.
Vancouver.
It's home. It's the wet coast. So while the sun might come out a little bit, when it returns to normal state in England, it would be rainy or cloudy or foggy. So
it's as right as rain.
It's right.as.Rain, as in it's the norm. Like it returns to being right. So, which is interesting and amusing. Probably not correct, but
I was out on Saturday night with some new friends from Iran, and they've recently immigrated here. And so we're like, we'll go down to, and it was a nice night here. It's about 18 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
it was beautiful. And so I'm like wearing a t-shirt. Like this is just how it is. It's like it's fine. 15 to 18 degrees. It was a beautiful day. Anyway, and so they're bundled up in literal like parkas,
Right.
with like fur lining on their hats, and they're like, we're so cold. I'm like, well, I guess it's just a matter of perspective. Here, it'd be right as rain or right as
quite nice.
Right as cool. It's a lovely day here.
I wait for a string of 16-degree days to take the top off the Jeep. So
yeah.
I haven't seen. Well, we've had a lot of rain, even though it's been warm, so I haven't done it yet. But yeah, it's coming. So long before, this part is interesting. Long before Right.As.Rain became popular, there were actually a ton of other variants of the same idiom. So here's a funny one that predates Right.As.Rain, comes from the 1400s, right as an adamant.
An adamant.
Isn't that weird? Right as an adamant.
Is it adamant have a different meaning than...
I didn't look it up. I just thought there's a list here. Right as an adamant.
Okay.
Here's another one. Right as my leg. I guess I do have a right leg. How you doing?
Right as my leg.
And right as a gun.
These don't make any sense anymore.
Right as a gun was the 1600s. How you feeling?
Right as a gun.
Except I'm shooting blanks.
Well, I am.
Okay. Published in 1837, Charles Dickens' Pickwick Papers used right as a trivet.
Huh. I do know what a trivet is.
What's a trivet?
Like if you're...
It's the sound the frog makes when it hits your windshield in the rain.
Trivet. A trivet would be like an under mesh or something. Like I would use a trivet to keep a pot elevated so that it didn't directly on the burner.
Like a hot pad sort of thing.
Yeah, I would put a trivet so it in the fire before I put a pot on that so that it didn't have direct contact with the coals. I would use a trivet.
So a trivet
to
on the
elevate.
counter to keep the hot pot off the counter,
Sure.
off the table.
Yep.
Well, here's the quote from the Pickwick Papers. "Oh," said Mr. Winkle the elder, looking rather grimly at Bob. "I hope you're well, sir." "Right as a I should be done all in an accent. "Right as a trivet, sir," replied Bob Sawyer. How's that for an accent?
Pretty good. Right as a trivet.
Right as a trivet. Here's another one. This has some fun information. Right as a ninepence. So the interesting thing about right as a ninepence.
Well, that just seems slightly off. Isn't it supposed to be a 10 pence?
What do you mean?
Like a 10 pence is an accurate unit of measure. Like
I don't know.
And then so right as a 9 pence means slightly off.
Well, here's what I discovered. Right as a ninepence, which apparently was in a ton of English literature, there is some theories that it came from, that it was a mispronunciation of right as nine pins. Right as 9 pins, because 9-pin bowling was a thing where you set 3 by 3 by 3, 3 by 3, 9 pins. And so when they were straightened and ready to start a new frame,
Is right as 9 pins?
it's right as 9 pins. And they think that it got kind of distorted and mispronounced over the years. So right as 9 pins, right as a book, right as nails, and right as the bank. So that one kind of makes sense.
Right as the bank.
Right as the bank. They've all been in use and in literature, but the one that prevailed was actually the most recent. It was the latecomer to the group, and so the prediction is the reason "right as rain" stuck is the alliteration of it. It just right as rain.
Right as rain.
So that is which makes sense because there's other ones. Fit as a fiddle. Get your goat. Right as rain. Mm-hmm. There was a pattern in English idioms that had the alliteration. But here's the part where I wasn't satisfied with the copy and paste answers.
Okay.
That everything I just
Yeah,
read.
a little bit something.
I added
little
some
something
quotes.
juicier.
This site had this quote. This site had the collection of what it used to be.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's like we don't know the actual origin till I found this. So the earliest I found is in Hence These Tears, which is 1872 by J.B.L. Warren. And it says, "Is all quiet outside?" "Right as rain," replied Christopher, pushing his head beyond the door to listen. So it was used. Oh, there's another quote here, but "Right as Rain," 1950. This is what I found: a 1955, which is not that old, dictionary of idioms.
Wow.
So this is what it says: "Few of us are aware that many commonly used words once had meanings, in many cases quite the opposite of those now current. Right in the phrase "right as rain" originally meant straight, in direction. So meaning like, I went right to school.
So straight as rain.
So straight as rain. So when rain falls, it's straight, like it's coming straight down. So you're basically saying, it's still the same meaning. Like I've straightened things up. I'm now straight. I was a little off the rails. Now I've straightened things out.
Whoa, that's mind blowing.
So now it's right as rain. It's straight as rain.
What? Because straight as rain makes sense, and right is like it's off kilter.
Yeah.
Right as rain. It's off kilter. This is amazing.
So that's gotta be
That has to be it.
It straight as rain is the meaning because it falls in a straight line. So I was off kilter. Now I'm right as rain. Now I've straightened it out.
Well,
I'm
it's
right. I'm.
I think it's slightly screwed up. Things are good and slightly off skew. It's right as rain because rain should be straight as rain as opposed to coming at it from a right angle.
No. Right doesn't mean right in direction. It means right means straight. Like I went straight to school. I went right to school. So it was
straight as rain. Just
straight as rain.
So you just go in equivocal straight as rain is like I'm as
like
accurate
rain
as
falls
rain.
and I'm as accurate as rain. Yeah, as straight as a line that a raindrop falling makes.
I was thinking like horizontal, it's just like things are screwed up.
No.
It's right
the
as rain.
opposite. So it's directionally straight as it falls from the sky. It's not always, but if you were drawing a rainy day on a piece of paper, it would be straight lines. Mm-hmm. So yeah, when you're a little off kilter and you straighten your life out, you're now as straight as the rain falls.
Straight as an arrow.
Straight as an arrow. Yeah.
Awesome.
So uncurved, direct, a right line. Literally definition. A right line means a straight line. So yeah.
Plumb.
A plumb line.
Interesting.
How about The Amazing Spider-Man?
Am I right?
Right.As.Rain.
That wasn't Spider-Man, but
He's got that
from
Batman
Spider-Man.
voice synthesizer. Well, that's
Jamie Foxx, isn't it? That character?
I don't know. I didn't.
Am I right?
Right.As.Rain.
Was he Electro or something?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I don't know his name, but I'm pretty sure that's Jamie Foxx. Anyway,
Cool. Anyway.
Right as rain.
Well, that is like that actually went somewhere in a pleasing sort of way.
Right?
Yeah, I was
As?
like, this one's lame.
And we
You
brought
turned-
it around.
You turned it around.
Brought it around.
Right as rain.
We fixed it.
Things
we made it right
things
as
are
rain.
correct as rain.
Yeah. How are we doing here?
Good.
Oh, well,
we should jump into some
we
riddling.
really should. First, I'd like to tell you about...
Are you selling me like something right now?
No, I went to play our music and something else popped. All right, Riddling is a game that we like to play. We're back on tracks. We're right as rain, brother. Riddling is a game we like to play. It takes a two-part trivia-based question, requires a two-part overlapping answer, overlapping by sound or syllable or word. So, for example, last week, our fantastic idiomatic podcast was in the buff. We got to spend 30 minutes talking about nudity. Mm-hmm. And so we left you with outdoor movies in your car in your birthday suit. See how well I said that?
Outdoor?
I stumbled over my words last week. Outdoor movies in your car in your birthday suit. So the answer would be...
Drive in the buff.
Drive in the buff. Drive in is the outdoor movies. In the buff. It was the idiom.
Perfect.
In the nude, in your birthday suit. And so that is how you play Riddling.
Well, I've got a couple.
I got a couple.
Let me jump in here. Things are proper the way they should be. Fish sticks on Wednesday, says
Raymond?
says Raymond Babbitt.
Let's say it again for everybody.
Okay, sorry.
That's good.
Yeah. Things are proper. Things are proper the way they should be. Fish sticks on Wednesday, says Raymond Babbitt.
Now you've got the
fish sticks on Wednesday.
You've got the canter.
Charlie Babbitt.
Cadence.
Fish sticks on
let's
Wednesday.
go with Right.As.Rain, man.
That's it.
That's good.
Little Dustin Hoffman there. Oh no.
All right.
Oh no.
I've got this one here for you.
Fish sticks on Wednesday.
Matthew McConaughey catchphrase is in good health.
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey catchphrase is in good health.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm racking my brain. I can put the pieces together. I got some Right as Rain. All right as rain.
All right.
All right. As rain.
As rain.
That's funny.
All right.
I didn't know he
as
came
rain.
up with that. That's his thing.
That's his thing.
All right. Okay, I got another one. Little short one. Village Idiom children chime in. The coldest continent is crap. I say it again. The coldest continent is crap.
Is crap Antarctica? Is that what we're talking about?
Yep.
Crap. Antarctica? That's great.
Yes. There you go.
I had scat in my head because we were scatting earlier.
Right.
And I'm like, scat. We were mentioning scat before. Maybe that was why. Oh, man. That was good. I like that. Antarctica.
So stupid. Well, we've got one more coming up. Please put your answer to this one in the comments somewhere, or message us directly on Instagram at the.village.idiom or the Village Idiom Podcast at gmail.com, or whether it's the Facebooks, the YouTubes, or the Twitters at 3 Minutes Gone.
I'll be honest. I was going to leave a Dwight Schrute one for dangling out there, but we talked about it so much. So I'm going to go with this. Everything is great for this luxury SUV.
And that is 3 minutes gone. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's good. The Village Idiom children should like that. It's fun putting a little something together for you. Enjoy your back to workness, your exercising, your car ride, whatever you were doing. Enjoy it.
Whatever you paused and sat silently just to listen to this, you can go back to it now. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You think anybody paused anything to listen to this? They kept right on trucking. Wondering why they come back, start paying attention, and all they're hearing is me laughing at Antarctica. 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 Anyway,
I'm Skinny.
I'm Jurassic Mark.
And these are the Village Idioms.
Who wants to be right as the rain is best?
Yeah.
And that's 3 minutes gone.